Hello, ma'am. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and being with us with EduTalks today. So, to our audience, thanks for being with us. Today, we have Miss Swati Patel from Maharashtra with us. She is the principal at Poddar International School and has been an educationist for quite a few years now across different schools. So, thanks, ma'am, once again for sparing time out of your busy schedule. And, ma'am, could you just share with us a little brief about your journey so that our audience gets to know more about you?
Thank you so much, Aditya, for inviting me here on this virtual platform so that I can share a few experiences of my journey as an educationist, and I hope that would be definitely beneficial for the current generation parents as well as teachers. To begin with my journey, I belong to a middle class family. My father was a government officer, and hence he was posted in a very rural area. Although it was a district place, now in Chhattisgarh, but then it was in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
So completed my studies in Hindi medium girls school up to 10th standard, and then moved to Maharashtra and did my 12th till through English medium in PCMC, like PCMB group.
Right.
After that, for some reason, I have to leave my studies. I got married at the age of 19.
Okay.
And almost after a break of 5 years, I started my studies once
Okay.
again. I was really passionate, so not science, but then I switched to arts and I completed my master's and bachelor in history as well as BEd and MEd. Along with that, I did my various short-term courses also, like Montessori teachers training course, art teachers diploma, diploma in education management or school management also I have completed from various universities and various organizations. So this is about my academics. Talking about my professional journey, I started my career as pre-primary teacher.
Okay.
So teaching in pre-primary was a wonderful experience. Then I also taught in primary classes. I worked as drawing teacher. I taught in I taught in secondary school as a history teacher, social science teacher, and it was almost 11 years I was into education industry. 2011, then I joined as principal with JSPM's Blossom Public School, Pune, Maharashtra. And that was my first assignment as principal. And I was the founder principal.
Wow, huge responsibility.
Yes. So almost 3.5 years I worked with them. I left with almost 2,000 students with successful CBSE affiliation. Then for a couple of months, I worked as junior college principal. And then I joined Mount Litra Z School, Nagpur. There I worked for a couple of years. And then 2016 onwards, I'm with Poddar as founder principal of Maharashtra, Talegaon. And recently I moved to Goa now.
Okay. Okay. Lovely. Great, ma'am. Ma'am, so like that's a very, I would say, inspiring journey you have had, like with lots of, should I say, punctuation marks in between your journey, and that would have taken a lot of motivation to sort of overcome that and move ahead. And so, ma'am, like, do you have any figure that you admired, like someone which kept motivating you, someone you looked up to at different points of your journey?
Definitely, Aditya, definitely. We get inspiration from various personality at various time. So it would be difficult to say about any one person. There are many people who keeps on inspiring us at various stages of our life. But the most admirable personality in my life was Raj, and is always is Rajmata Ahilya Devi Holkar.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and it's simple reason. In 18th century, uh, she was a great ruler. Her simplicity, her wisdom, her empathy, her courage, everything inspired me. I would say she's truly a modern time woman.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. And ma'am, like you have handled so many roles and so many diverse roles. Ma'am, like how, like which role, apart from your current role, like you have been teachers for so many subjects, different age groups of students. So which one did you enjoy the maximum?
See, at every stage, I enjoyed my role to the fullest. When I taught my pre primary kids, it was a wonderful experience. And even today, as principal of K-12 school, I see those smiles on little tiny thoughts, and that makes my day. So whenever I take round, I interact with them, I meet them, I greet them. So yeah, that is really wonderful. So definitely being a principal, at times I feel I get disconnected with my children as compared to teachers. Like being a teacher, you are very
Much more
closely
engaging and involved.
connected with
True, true.
them. But being principal, you are also involved in administrative work and all other things. But I definitely take out some time to interact with them and to understand their aspirations. What are their expectations? And if given an opportunity, I think a counselor or life coach's role would be really a wonderful role, which I would like to take up.
Okay. Okay. And ma'am, like the challenges, like when you're dealing with young kids, like and the little, what should I say, young adults, uh, how are they different, ma'am? And how do you wear those multiple hats?
Okay. So, see, I believe these young children are very innocent and they are very sensitive also. For them, teachers, we are the role models. And they blindly believe what we say, what teachers they say.
True.
And when we talk about young adults, they do have their logical reasoning. And
Absolutely.
then they want acceptance and they
Okay.
want like for their questions, for their queries, for their anything, any aspect of their lives. I believe they need a logical reasoning. If we are able to give them logical reasoning, definitely they follow the right. They make right decisions and they follow right path too.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, like your journey has been very spectacular, where it's ranged from different roles, and
Right.
as you mentioned that you kept on upskilling yourself continuously by opting for different courses, be it short term or courses which helped you in your work. Apart from that, ma'am, like apart from these academic courses, how did you upskill yourself? Because each and every responsibility was larger than the previous one. So
Always.
how did you go about it?
So first thing I believe is reading. I love reading. That helps me a lot. Then I believe meeting with experienced people and gathering advices, traveling, interacting with such people, gathering their advices which comes out of their experiences
Right,
helped
ma'am.
a lot. Although I couldn't travel much extensively, but definitely I would like to do that. But reading, and at the same time we also need to work with our thoughts, because when we keep changing, like when we leave our comfort zone and we move to take up new challenges, it
Right.
requires a lot of emotional balance, a lot of intellectual balances also, because
Right.
every role got its own challenges,
True.
and all those challenges got different solutions. And
Absolutely.
so I believe meditation definitely helps. So
Okay.
I definitely enjoy and I take out some time for meditation where I observe nature. I love to hear nature's song, which
Okay.
helps me a lot. But most important thing is learning from others' experiences and reading.
Okay.
This helped me a lot. Nowadays, for online reading,
Okay. Okay. And ma'am, like what, like any particular achievement like which you're very proud of during your journey?
I think it's very clear. When I picked up my first assignment as principal, that was the proudest moment for me. To be very honest, when I started my journey as teacher, because nothing was decided for me, and when I left my studies, got married, and then I was trying my luck into the educational industry, there were a couple of people who said, "Why are you in education industry when you haven't done any training or anything?"
Right.
And 11 years down the line, when I picked up my first assignment as principal, that was the most proudest moment for me.
Absolutely. Great. And I'm like definitely, like as you mentioned that you read a lot, you developed your, ensured that you had all the academic credentials, you put in your hard work. When there were people who were doubting you, you went about it. And there would definitely be, ma'am, few bad days where things didn't go as per plan. So any such episode which you could share, and how did you go about it and sort of overcame that?
Okay, so Aditya, I will never ever call it as a bad day. I
Okay.
always call it as a challenging day,
Right.
which
Right.
teaches us
Right.
the most important and crucial lessons in our
Sure.
life.
Sure.
So definitely there were many such challenging days which we face in our journey, be it as a teacher, initial days, or even after being a principal. I believe being principal, it's more vulnerable stage where we are working. Even a small wrong step may lead to a bigger problem or bigger
Absolutely.
challenges to us. Facing any challenging day is to keep myself calm. That is most important thing. In spite of reacting, it's important to respond to any situation and
Right.
understand the situation and the causes of the situation, why it had happened, and then working on the solution of those problem or those challenges was always the mantra in my life. So
Right, ma'am.
yeah, with all these kids, and especially when we have like 150 staff members coming from different background and 2000 plus students coming from various background, or each day would be a challenging day.
Absolutely. Absolutely, ma'am. And ma'am, with COVID, like I would say that all your learning of so many years would have been tested in a very big way. Like right from how do you ensure the best learning for your students, to keeping your team motivated, keeping
Right.
yourself charged up, because everyone was going through mayhem in their personal lives, totally
True.
unpredictable, and it was a very scary situation.
Right.
So how did you go about this, like as a school, as you as a leader, did you do something that which you feel was great and other schools could take inspiration from?
Basically, if I'm talking about the situation, current situation also, which is very scary, very uncertain, it's important that we as teachers, I always keep telling my teachers that teachers are the standing soldiers, standing army of the country.
Right.
Even a wrong habit or wrong values imbibed by teacher will spoil entire generation. So making them realize, making them understand the importance of their saying, their doing, and their responsibilities was most important part of my journey. So whenever I join as a foundation principal or founder principal with any school, first year I always invested in building a
Okay.
team which will believe in the same vision mission, which I believe, which
Great.
organization believe. At the same time, this is something, yes, we all are working, but we are working for the society. Definitely, as I mentioned, we are working and we are paid for it, and definitely there should be some motivation to work. But
Right.
beyond the salary part or beyond the monetary gain, it gives us a self satisfaction when we see our children
True.
coming back 10 years down the line with certain achievements,
Absolutely.
and how we influence their lives is very important. So yes, first year, and I believe young generation teachers are easy to mold, but it is important to make them realize the importance of teachers role in a student's life. I'm
Right.
sure we all remember our school days teachers as compared to college days professors.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that is something what I believe in. We need to invest our time with our team so that the entire team will work for the same motto, same vision,
Great.
mission.
And ma'am, like when you mentioned this point about definitely like children, they are this 21st century world. People are
Right.
giving it different names to this. They are saying it's very volatile, uncertain. The jobs which are there today, few decades down the line, they might not be there. So
Absolutely.
they expect students to learn different skills, not just subject expertise, but skills like problem solving skills,
True.
creativity, communication skills, working in teams, etc. And as you correctly pointed out, ma'am, that all students, everyone, they remember the school teachers, because
Right.
whatever like we are right now in terms of personality, a big foundation was laid down in the school itself. So how do you take care of these challenges and the opportunity of the 21st century skills as a leader, ensuring that children develop these skills apart from just mere subject expertise?
Okay, so yes, as you said rightly, these 21st century skills are very important, be it collaboration, communication, creativity, creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, team spirit or building. All these skills are very important because I always believed that the education system which we are the product of was somehow came from the Britishers, where we were asked to do certain tasks. But in 21st century, we don't want only doers. We want thinkers, the one
True.
who can think out of the box, who can that will help them to drive innovations. And as you said, the jobs which exist right now, a decade down, it won't exist, and they need to be prepared to accept those changes, to come up with the innovative ideas to solve it. So yes, we as educationalists, it's important for us to imbibe all these skills in our children, to imbibe all these skills in our students. We definitely conduct certain activities.
Okay.
And the most important part, which I would like to point out here, is the inquiry based learning. When we talk about inquiry, it's all about asking questions: why
Right.
and how, and finding out the reasons, or maybe in a simpler way, I could say constructivism,
Okay.
inquiry based learning, which definitely I train my teachers also on these skills.
Right.
And then we try to implement the same methods in our day-to-day teaching, where we encourage our students to ask as many questions as they
Okay.
can, which
Okay.
will lead to further research.
True.
When we talk about inquiry provoking questions, so
Okay.
in spite of we giving them knowledge, if they find out the facts, they find out the reasons, and then they start asking questions ki if. If it won't happen like this, what might happen next? How? Why? It helps them to find out, go for further research and find out the reasons, come up with the innovations. And believe me, Aditya, you will be amused to see the ideas and solutions when children they come up at the end of the inquiry-based lessons.
Right.
It's wonderful to see them. So this is one thing which I believe, inquiry-based learning. Another thing is the project-based learning.
Okay.
Project-based learning, again, say for example, if I'm asking them to build a project of a house or a building, build a house, doesn't mean they have to construct and give it to us. So again, there will be the question-driven projects, and then students doing the entire process and coming up with the final solution. So the process of this project is more important than the end product. So these two things I believe is helping us a lot to imbibe these 21st century skills.
And ma'am, like education is definitely it says that it takes a village to raise a child. So it's a joint responsibility of both the parents and the teachers in a way to raise a child. So ma'am, like I understood like what teachers are doing. They are doing this. They are taking it upon themselves to stay updated, work hard, use different modes of learning like teaching, be it inquiry based learning or project based learning. So as a parent, so how do they ensure that both parents and teachers are in a way talking the same language, so that it then the output would be much more enhanced? Otherwise it would be like both are talking in a very different language to very different times. So how do you go about that?
Okay, so when it comes to, yes, rightly said, it's a joint responsibility of parents, community, and teachers to raise a child. It's not only about parents and teachers, it's again the community also.
Right.
What child sees, child absorbs and adapts easily rather than reading and understanding and doing it. So, my sincere advice to parent is try to understand what school and teachers are doing. Attend those workshops because we do conduct workshops for the parents too. At the same time, it is important that parents they model a good citizenship in front of students. Like we definitely teach them to maintain cleanliness, Swachhata Abhiyan, right? But on the way, when they see parent throwing a wrapper out of the window, it's a contradiction of what we teach and what we do. So, model a good citizenship is very important. And I believe in today's generation, in today's time, it is also important to build a good civic sense. Right. So, how they communicate, how they collaborate with their neighbors, how they communicate in the society with the teachers, how they collaborate is going to set an example for the child to be followed. At the same time, parents try to give everything ready-made to their kids just to reduce the efforts. I always believe it's important for each child to go through a process to research on the topic, irrespective how bad or how good would be the final product. But child is going to learn through that process. For example, like I always keep telling this story to my parents as and when I get an opportunity. Right? So if you observe a pupa when it's in the cocoon, and when cocoon, the butterfly struggles to come out of the cocoon, right? So it struggles a lot to come out of the cocoon. But if you cut the cocoon, then butterfly will not develop those beautiful wings to fly.
Absolutely.
So it's important to facilitate them, encourage them to do this. but don't do for them anything. That is what I would suggest and advise to parents.
So one would be being good role models. If
Yes,
we do something on our own, chances are our kids will follow it. They will emulate us.
absolutely,
So we have to set
absolutely.
the right examples in front of them. We
True.
might preach, but they will only follow what they see
See,
us doing. And
yes,
second thing that you said was that don't provide things very easily to children. Like don't spoon
true.
feed. There's a process which they need to navigate on their own, and that
Absolutely.
process also educates them, not
A
just the
lot.
final output.
As
So
well as it helps to build the strength.
right, right.
So,
Absolutely, ma'am. And ma'am, like you mentioned this point about different skills that students need to develop, and we see now there are a lot of different courses which are outside school that
yes,
parents are enlisting their children to, and not all parents would be able to afford these courses.
right.
So, what could be some easy things? Suppose we pick up communication skills,
Mhm.
and so if I cannot afford as a parent, so what could be some easy hacks or something very simple that I could do? Because chances are I did not go to English medium school. So there would
Mhm.
be many parents like that. So I have taken my child to and enrolled him to or her to an English medium school. So is there anything that I could do at home still, not being a first generation English learner? I might not be very well to do. With great difficulty, I'm sending my child to an English medium school. Then as a parent, can I do something still for my child rather than, because I cannot afford that special classes, English classes, which other parents are sending.
Right, Aditya. So there are small, small hacks or small, small tips which each one of us can follow. It's not necessary that child should be enrolled for a very good and profound English classes and then only child can do excel in that particular subject. So I would always advise, like coming from the old school days, reading newspaper, English newspaper,
Okay.
or small magazines. Very important. Nowadays, in last 1.5 years since pandemic hit the world, we all are very good with the digital world,
Right.
all of us.
Right.
So even if I'm not the first generation English learner as a parent, I do have Android phone, I do have
Right.
internet, right?
Right.
So there are many apps, free apps, which will
Right.
help them to learn English, as well as for students also to
Right. Right.
speak with the correct pronunciations. There are many small videos available to
Okay.
learn basic English grammars and basic
Okay.
English skills, which doesn't require a large amount of money.
Okay.
But at the same time, I would also advise them whatever they learn. Yeah, initially they might feel hesitated
Right.
to speak in English with their kids. But if
Right.
they can start talking to with them in small, simple sentences, and children may correct them or may tell suggest them the right pronunciation, so
Right.
that will also help. But as a parent, here they will build a relationship with their kids
Right.
because they are giving a space where child can make mistake and can be rectified.
True.
So child will not feel ashamed in making mistakes and rectifying it because he or she is watching his or her parents doing same.
Right.
At the same time, I'm sure you are also coming up with so many videos which I saw on your website, which are
Yes, ma'am.
really very helpful for
Thank you, ma'am.
such parents to learn basic skills in communication. So I'm sure people like you will come up with such more digital apps and videos
Absolutely, ma'am.
to reach out
Absolutely.
even the rural area parents, Like right now, this is what I observed. Like as I mentioned, I spent my young days in very rural part of India,
Right, ma'am.
where I still remember when we moved to that place, the entire district, the entire city was none of the pakka houses were there in the entire city.
Okay. Okay.
Even the WCs were not the kind of WCs we use. So
Okay.
it was that rural part, right?
Okay.
And I'm sure still in India there are villages
Absolutely.
where even the basic facilities are not available.
True.
So if we can reach out to them with such apps, such small apps on mobile or such small videos on mobile, I'm
Right,
sure
ma'am.
we can share some part of the responsibility to bring 100% literacy in India.
Sure, ma'am. We'll
So
also
I
try.
should thank you for making such videos and apps, I'm sure, which will reach out to the people in due course of time.
Definitely, ma'am. We'll try our best, ma'am. And I'll just share one incident, ma'am. Like, so I was working with Hindustan Lever back then,
Okay.
and they had this orientation program where they used to send us to villages,
Okay.
so that and stay with the villager at the villager's place for 2 months.
Oh.
So my first morning, I had slept at the villager's place, which was a very humble place. So in the morning, he gave me this bottle of Bisleri,
Okay.
which was cut at the top. He gave it to my hand and pointed me to the fields.
Oh.
So, and that continued for 2 months. So that was a nice experience, which what you're saying, and this is just 10 years back. So not a lot has changed as what you are saying, ma'am. So things are still there. India is catching up very fast, and technology. The point you mentioned that infrastructure might not have reached there, but thanks to Geo and this competition between Airtel and Geo, the digital infrastructure is being built at a very crazy pace.
Absolutely.
And they are adapting it to in a very big way. So, ma'am, like due to COVID, so what was your experience? Like as teachers, I believe this entire sector embraced technology in a very big way, and I'm very proud to say that I'm working with such people who overnight, because I've worked with Hindustan Lever also, I have seen how managers use technology and on a very day-to-day basis, and I've also seen teachers now embrace technology, and I would say now we can give them a run for their money in terms of use of technology.
True.
So ma'am, like how is this going to work? Like, because schools will reopen in a month or so, and so will technology still play a part, or how will this get blended? How will this work, ma'am? What's your view on this?
Okay, so yeah, this last 1.5 year taught us a lot. And believe me, I'm working as principal since last 10 years. And I've always felt this challenge that teachers were not able to use even the technology effectively in their day-to-day life. Simpler thing like Excel sheet, using for the calculation of the marks, they were not able to use it effectively. Definitely, they were struggling and using it.
Right.
And this pandemic taught them a lot. So in month of April, when we opened the last academic year, 2019-2021, right? With no time, teachers adopted this technology with a lot of trial and error. They explored a lot while working from home. They faced various challenges. They came up with various solutions. And when physical school will open, I'm sure the technology will still play very crucial role. The apps like Google Earth, or AR, like augmented reality, gives real life experience for the learners, which
True.
can be used even in the live classrooms, physical
Absolutely.
classrooms. Right?
Absolutely.
So, although right now we are connected with our students online, virtually using Zoom platform, where we use different apps like Jamboard, Whiteboard, or
Right, ma'am.
Padlets, etc.
Yeah.
Maybe those apps will be replaced by the actual whiteboard.
Right,
But
ma'am.
various apps which we are using to share the videos or real life experience, like as
Right,
I
ma'am.
mentioned, Google Earth,
Right,
they
ma'am.
can, like when I'm teaching a being like history teacher or a social science teacher, if
Yeah,
I
ma'am.
have to teach them, say, the pyramids of Misr, Egypt, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I Earlier I used to show them the pictures,
Right,
then
ma'am.
a few encyclopedias where the pictures of inside and some kind of those things.
Absolutely.
But with Google Earth, I can take them there.
True,
To
true,
show them
true.
the real life picture of the pyramids.
Right, ma'am.
So
Right, ma'am.
definitely now, because teachers they got a good hand holding over such apps when they
Right, ma'am.
share their screen and show them all these things, or
Right,
even for maths and science various experiments, because of the online classes we were conducting on the virtual labs with them,
right, ma'am.
will continue even when we start physical classrooms. And to be very honest, as teacher, yes, I am enjoying teaching them all these things, and I
Absolutely.
always feel यार हमारे टाइम पर होना चाहिए था.
True, true, true. So true, ma'am. So true.
It's so interesting when you give them a real life experience, maybe virtually, but they really get this experience. So definitely these digital tools and technology will continue to be best friend of the teachers, educators.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, any advice you would want to give to students?
I would advise only one thing, Aditya, in this digital world. It's important to be safe in the digital world.
Right,
This is the digital world, and we leave each and every footprints behind us.
right, ma'am.
So we have to be wise enough when we are using various apps, when we are exploring even internet. We
Right,
are
ma'am.
on social media also. Young students are on social media also. They may
Mm,
find these are the very, very small things, but you never know when it will lead to a bigger problem. And this is
absolutely.
where the young adults need to be unlike need to be very, very cautious
No,
and
ma'am.
wise enough not to get into the trap of such
Absolutely.
things.
It's very dangerous. True.
Very
Very
dangerous.
dangerous.
That is where, like, as I mentioned, various challenging days. So once I faced this challenge where one of my student created an Instagram account using someone else's name,
Oh my God. Okay.
and through that account he was sending friend requests to others,
Okay. Okay.
and it was all about girls and boys, and then
Right,
things went
right,
into
right,
really
right,
very a very sensitive mode,
right, right.
and then we really need to handle it very
Mm,
carefully, ensuring that things will not be repeated in future.
true, true,
Right.
true.
So that's the reason I always advise my students कि yes, this digital world is your friend. It's giving you a lot of knowledge, a lot of explore. You can explore so many things on this digital world, but it is very important to be cautious, to be
Absolutely.
careful, and to be wise enough
Right, ma'am.
to use these platforms.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sparing such a lot of time for our audience. And I'm very confident that they would take away a lot of nuggets of wisdom from this. And we hope to have you again on our platform with definitely like few topics I can think in my mind right now, like about inquiry based learning, project based learning. So we would explore that how could we have a sort of a master class on that. We'll stay in touch with you, ma'am. And thanks a lot again, ma'am, for sparing time for this, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aditya. It was pleasure to talk to you. It was really a wonderful session which I had with you, and I hope we will reach out to the interior part of India,
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
right? So that no one will be left behind when we talk about Indians. So thank you so much, and it was pleasure talking to you, and looking forward to stay connected with you and your
Sure.
organization. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.